Media Watch, James Credence here. James, the law forbidding denial publicly of the Armenian genocide, which was passed here in France, has now been judged unconstitutional. And I imagine the reaction online to that has been fairly widespread.
Well, certainly in Turkey, Mark, very, very quickly there was reaction on the two English language Turkish websites, which I was able to have a look at. The Hurriyet Daily News, they had it on breaking news all afternoon. It was their top news story. Council rejects France's Armenian genocide bill because this concerned the Ottoman Empire back in 1915. Turkey is the inheritor of the Ottoman Empire. Sure. They don't want this image of being responsible for genocide. So this has been a big diplomatic dispute between Turkey and France. And today's Zaman, that's another English language paper, they're pointing that out as well. So basically Ankara was very pleased with the fact that this was turned
Turkey isn't
around.
denying the actual sort of the fact that people died. They say 300,000 died. The Armenians say 1.5 million were killed, and basically led to perish by the Ottoman Turks, that kind of thing. And of course France and Turkey had a diplomatic spat over this law, didn't they?
Now, what there's pointed out in the Turkish press today is that Turkey is now willing to reopen economic and political ties with France, which they had severed back in January because of this. And so they're ready now to sort of, perhaps review the legal or the diplomatic situation. And so basically blogs and websites have been looking at this all afternoon and looking at the reasons behind it. Basically, what the Constitutional Council said is it's disproportionate. If it's against the freedom of expression to forbid somebody to question facts that have been recognised by law. They're saying, look, that's going too far. So that's basically what's happened. Now, just a quick look at this website, Armenia's official press agency. They're noting the fact that Nicolas Sarkozy said this afternoon that he's going to draft a new bill criminalising genocide. Now, a lot of people have accused this of being a sort of electoral measure to get the votes of the 500,000 Armenians resident in France with French citizenship. Now, Rue 89 says, look, you know what? There just isn't enough time for Sarkozy to do this. He'd have to do it before the 6th of March, the end of the next parliamentary session. That's just not enough time before the end of his term.
It's an interesting thing, though, because obviously Nicolas Sarkozy has his own Twitter account. He talks about things on Twitter. We're looking for the reaction on that one. It's been short in substance thus far.
Right.
And clearly there are Franco-Armenian voters here in France, and some cynics say that this could just be a vote catcher.
That's right. And what they're saying in this Rue 89 article as well, which is quite interesting, is even if this was an electoral bid, Sarkozy has now shown the Armenian community that he's done his utmost to get this, to have this recognised.
So clever. Even if it doesn't pass, he's kind of, pandering is maybe the wrong word, but he's showing them, look, vote for me, I'm on your side.
Right. The Armenians will be able to say, or it's
or he
true.
Can say to them, vote for me because
I've done my best for you, even if it didn't work out in the end.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say.
Okay, Angela Merkel has had a liquidity crisis. James will explain what all this means.
Right. Okay. Well, there were pictures that I would have loved to have shown you, but this I can think we might be able to see it here on this Business Insider page. This was in Germany last weekend, right? Yeah. And she was, just doing her thing with the voters, and basically what happened is she had 5 glasses of beer just fall on top of her head. Now, this YouTube video has gone absolutely viral. It's had something like 400,000 clicks in the last 48 hours. And the poor guy in question, I'm not sure have we seen it happen yet. I think
here we go, replay. Oh, now, bless her. Look at that. She, what a professional, she reacted really well. But poor guy, I bet he was mortified, wasn't he?
Well, he gave an interview to Bild, which is the tabloid in Germany. There he is. And he said that he did say Scheiße at the exact moment that happened. I'm sure people will be able to figure out.
We don't need to translate that, do we? Merde.
Right. We'll say it in every language except English. So a big interview with him saying, look,
it's just der Kanzlerin. Oh, I like it.
But she was very cool about it. And what a lot of people have been saying on Twitter is another liquidity crisis for Merkel. So people have been quipping about it, quipping.
But she took it well.
She did take it well, actually. It's a good sign of her character.
And still had a beer afterwards, so maybe that'll get us some votes. Okay, political tour de France, let's go.
All right, 2 journalists, they decided, you know what, time to get out of the newsroom. And 3 weeks ago, they embarked on a 3,500-kilometre tour of the country to ask people what they think about the upcoming presidential election. So it's a good way of getting out and, I suppose, getting around. And it's even more reliable than than the pollsters, and you really get to see people and meet them and figure out why they're voting whichever way they're voting. Speaking to a lot of people who are actually going to vote far right, and the thing about far right voters in France, and I suppose in a lot of places, is they don't admit it. They don't want people to know that they're going to vote far right. But for this sort of a thing, I suppose once they get talking to people on a one-on-one basis, they actually do give a certain amount of information. And for example, I think it was Jackie and Sylvette said, look, we're angry with Nicolas Sarkozy, and this isn't a vote for Marine Le Pen, it's a vote against all the others. Okay. So anyway, you can follow them on Twitter and Facebook, and it's an interesting way of getting out there.
Make you follow them on the bicycle yourself. James Creedon with Media Watch.
Thanks, Mark.
That's it for the moment. Short break, then we're back with all the day's news, plus sport and culture. There's something for everybody here on Live from Paris.